Welcome. Tonight, Governor Chukuma emerges consensus governorship candidate for Abuja, just as George Moghalu clinches Labour Party's ticket for the November 8th Anambra governorship poll. Nigeria and Senegal pledge to deepen collaboration in areas of trade, regional security, as well as democratic governance. The ancient town of Oyo comes alive as Oba Akim Owade is formally installed as the 46th Alafi of Oyo Kingdom. And President Donald Trump tells American businesses and citizens to hang tough over tariffs. And on business, Nigeria's forex reserves decline as Naira faces pressure amid all concerns.
And on sports news tonight, Paris Saint-Germain seal a fourth successive and 13th French league title after a win at home against Angers with 6 matches left to play. Of the November 8th governorship elections in Anambra, some party primaries took place across the state today. The All Progressives Grand Alliance Abuja retained the governor, Professor Chukuma Soludo, as its consensus candidate. Governor Soludo, who polled 3,168 affirmation votes, described the display of solidarity as unprecedented and overwhelming, promising to deepen the 5 pillars of his administration's developmental plans.
And continue to show up.
Delegates of the All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA converge on Dr. Alex Akwa Ibom Square, Awka, for the 2025 governorship primary election. In no time, Governor Chukuma Soludo arrives the square and felicitates with the delegates. The event begins with remarks by the chairman of APGA in Anambra State, Mr. Ifeatu Obi-Okoye, and the chairman, Anambra State Primary Election Panel, Uchenna Nwegbo.
All the dignitaries who have been appreciated by the protocol before now. We also want to appreciate the delegates who have come in here since morning, and you've conducted yourself quite creditably. In the ballot paper that is given to you, if you want to confirm our governor as the sole candidate of our party for the November 8th, 2025 governorship election in Anambra State, you mark yes. If you don't want to confirm our governor, you have every right to mark no. And thereafter, you quickly move to the ballot boxes that is in front of your local government podium to drop your ballot.
Next, the 3,260 delegates from the 21 local government areas file out to cast their affirmation ballot under the watchful eyes of INEC and party observers.
When you cast your vote,
you get back to your seat.
When you put your ballot paper in the ballot box, do it fast, go back to your seat so that we can move on.
At the end of the exercise, the ballots are collated and the result announced.
Total number of yes votes cast, 3,168. And so by virtue of the powers conferred upon me by Article 11, bracket 9 and 13, and 14 of APGA electoral guidelines for Anambra State governorship election 2025, I, Chief Uche Nwegbo, the Chief Returning Officer for this governorship primary election, hereby declare Professor Charles Chukuma Soludo, CFR, as the governorship candidate of APGA in the November 8, 2025 Anambra State governorship election. I so declare. Please
After getting the nod to fly APGA's flag in the November 2025 governorship poll, a visibly excited Governor Soludo describes the display of solidarity as unprecedented, adding that he accepts the nomination with all sense of humility, as he also announces the nomination of his deputy, Dr. Onyeka Ibezim, as his running mate.
Let's do it again together. Let's continue with the progressive movement in Anambra. Anambra is rising under the progressive leadership that we have here. And all through the journey so far, 3 years down the line, you've been giving us unprecedented support, commitment, and everybody united. And that's why we've been able to achieve what we have been able to do in the last 3 years. The coming times will still continue to count on your prayers, because only together, we will continue to build this new Anambra of our dream.
All is now set for APGA to commence campaign activities, as the mantra is 21/21 and 326/326.
In the camp of the Labour Party, the former managing director of the National Inland Waterways Authority, Mr. George Moghalu, has clinched the governorship ticket at the primary held in Awka, the Anambra state capital. The process was monitored by officials from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the party's electoral team, as well as other observers. Mr. Moghalu had 575 votes, while his opponent, Mr. John Wosu, who had withdrawn earlier in the day from the race, still gathered 19 votes. Reacting to his victory, Mr. Moghalu said the party's trust in him will not be misplaced, as the defining moment for Anambra State has come. For the stories now, the administrator of Rivers State, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Eteba, says his administration is committed to fixing most of the vandalized infrastructure within the state's available financial resources. He expressed this commitment during an inspection tour of some local government areas, as well as roads that were destroyed during the takeover of council offices by the newly elected chairman on October the 7th last year.
For the third time in less than a month, the administrator of Rivers State, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, is embarking on another round of project inspections across the state. His first stop is the Kana Local Government Secretariat, where he's received by council officials and taken on a tour of the facility that was vandalized during the October 7, 2024 crisis over the disputed takeover of council offices after the local government election. Despite the earlier destruction, cheerful signs of restoration are evident, as repairs and rehabilitation works are already underway. Another local government secretariat inspected is that of Eleme, where the extent of destruction is more severe. Rather than renovate the vandalized structure, the council opted to construct a new secretariat building adjacent to the vandalized structure, where the administrator expressed disappointment over the scale of destruction.
There's a lot of work to be done. I think together with the various leaders at various levels, we have to work together to ensure that we deliver. The limited resources are made available to the local governments. I want to implore those who are managing these resources to put them to judicious use. The people are watching. They want to know exactly what we're doing with their money.
Beyond the council facilities, retired Vice Admiral Ibas also inspects 4 road projects within the Kana and Eleme local government areas, including the Eleme section of the landmark Port Harcourt Ring Road project.
These are the almost finished road
He shares his thoughts on the significance of the road projects after receiving briefings from the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Works and the contractors.
For those of you who have had the privilege of being outside Nigeria, these are things that are taken for granted. The more roads we have, the more commerce, the means of commuting and then becomes easier. And we're trying to create wealth. Without roads, of course, sometimes you have your produce and before you even move them to the marketplace, they are rotten. But we also expect that when these roads are completed, that those who are going to use them will also take care of the infrastructure.
He also stops over to evaluate some completed projects like the newly inaugurated Bori Zonal Hospital.
So some of the equipment are yet to be installed, like this one.
The project inspection is set to reflect the administrator's sustained commitment to infrastructure development and governance restoration in River State.
Meanwhile, the Transition Monitoring Group, TMG, has urged the Rivers Administrator to adopt a neutral stance in managing the state's affairs. At a media briefing in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, the TMG and other civil society organizations said while the public awaits the reversal of the emergency rule, it is crucial for the administrator, who is temporarily filling the position, to maintain neutrality in governance. They condemned the suspension of appointees of statutory bodies, the alleged expenditure of state funds without legislative approval, and demanded the disclosure of allocations received and details of funds he met when assuming office. In fulfillment of his promise to bring governance closer to the people, the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Moeno, today visited the coastal town of Oron in continuation of his town hall meetings and empowerment programs across the 10 federal constituencies in the state. He reassured the residents of his administration's commitment to make life more meaningful for them.
In fulfillment of his promise to bring governance closer to the people, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moeno on Saturday visited the coastal town of Oron in continuation of his town hall meetings and empowerment program across the 10 federal constituencies in the state. The governor used the occasion to reassure the people of his administration's commitment to make life more meaningful for them. The purpose of the town hall meeting is to create a platform for the state government to present its scorecard to the people of each federal constituency and to seek their opinion based on their needs assessment on what they want the government to do for them through the instrumentality of the 2026 budget. The program kicked off with the maiden edition in Abak Federal Constituency comprising Abare Temekbo and Ika local government areas. Today is the turn of Oron, Mbo, Okobo, Udunoko, and Uruofongoruko Federal Constituency. Thousands of constituents representing all strata of the society are in high spirits for the event, which they consider an opportunity to do an objective critique of the government and articulate their collective interests. Leaders of the federal constituency take turns to commend the initiative.
Your Excellency, what you have done in order in less than 2 years in office, we can't mention all of them. In 24 years, you have not experienced what you have done in order in less than 2 years, Your Excellency.
We've been expecting this miracle to happen, where the beach, people, the work they are doing today, you've opened up the beach for us. Now, so many people will always be happy that what we have been looking for, it has happened in your own days.
How much in all
the areas, the local government areas that you went to, you had needs assessment that you did independently. So today, those basic needs that you identified across the 31 local government, you have started touching them.
Stakeholders, led by the former secretary to the Akwa Ibom state government, Emmanuel Ekuwem, present the needs assessment document of the federal constituency to the governor. This document contains the needs, concerns, and aspirations of the constituency.
This governor has brought light. Where there is sadness, let there be joy. And this governor has brought joy. Your Excellency, we then approach you with our needs and this token presentation of Susan Miyara. Thank you very much.
Can we continue to celebrate him? Can we continue to celebrate him?
Governor Eno restates his commitment to stimulating the state economy by boosting small and medium-scale enterprises.
As we walk towards our 10th year in office, we pledge to continue to run an all-inclusive government. It doesn't matter where you are from. We will bring development to your doorsteps. We are working hard to fulfill our campaign promises and want to assure the Oro people that you will never be left behind.
Symbolic checks are presented to some beneficiaries of the Arise Farmers Grants and the Traders Grants.
Your Excellency, this is a check of 5 million naira to Felicia Anti-Audio.
A total of 335 million naira was allocated to empower beneficiaries drawn from the 5 local government areas of the constituency.
Thank you for supporting the SMS.
In part 2, after the break, the ancient town of Oyo comes alive as Oba Akim Owode is formally installed as the 46th Alaafin of Oyo Kingdom. We'll give you details in a moment. Don't forget. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Governor Chukuma emerges consensus governorship candidate for Abga, just as George Moghalu clinches Labour Party's ticket for the November 8th Anambra governorship poll. Nigeria and Senegal pledge to deepen collaboration in the areas of trade, regional security, as well as democratic governance. The ancient town of Oyo comes alive as Oba Akim Owode is formally installed as the 46th Alaafin of Oyo Kingdom. And President Donald Trump tells American businesses and people to hang tough over tariffs. Nigeria and Senegal have indicated interest to deepen collaboration in the areas of trade, regional security, and democratic governance. The two countries, which gained independence in 1960, have maintained bilateral ties for over 6 decades, with Senegal accounting for 68.7% of Nigeria's exports. Recently, Vice President Kashim Shettima represented the president at Senegal's 65th Independence Day celebration in Dakar. And speaking on the sidelines of that event, some top government functionaries expressed optimism about the future of both countries.
Both countries have remained committed to deepening democratic governance, democratic values, and also constitutional governance in the African continent. And of course, we have also remained committed jointly in the fight against terrorism and building strong regional institutions, multilaterally. We cooperate within the African Union, within the United Nations, within the Economic Community of West African States, and really in terms of our shared relationships, Nigeria and Senegal continue to work together. As a matter of fact, the president was in Nigeria just last year to meet with our president, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to talk about areas of collaboration, areas of cooperation. Senegal, of course, takes 68.7% exports from Nigeria within the ECOWAS market. So that's quite substantial. And we hope to continue to deepen these economic relations and enhance our relationship across all sectors.
So when President Faye of Senegal was sworn into office, one of the foremost leaders he visited was President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, significant for many reasons, given the repositioning of Nigeria by Mr. President as definitely as Africa's giant, no two ways about that. We've been able to reclaim our position in the Committee of Nations, not just in Africa, but indeed across the world. And so for strategic reasons, for our bilateral relationship, it's definitely necessary for us to have honored his invitation from Mr. President, and that was why Mr. President thought it novel for him to send the Vice President to come honor President Faye's invitation.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says the current administration is committed to revamping the economy by putting in place policies to boost trade and commercial activities. Mr. Wike, who was represented at the commissioning of the Kubo International Market in Abuja, asked traders who subscribe to the facility to use it properly. Our correspondent, Dele Omoyeni, reports that the market has 2,890 shops, a clinic, and banking facilities.
Permit me now. The Kubo International Market is located in a suburb of the Federal Capital Territory to cater to various trading activities. The custodian of the property and the managing director of the Abuja Investments Company welcomes dignitaries to the occasion.
I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the officials of the FCT and especially to my team, to the traditional rulers, thank you so much, and other stakeholders who have played a role in the construction of this market.
Some of the dignitaries gave their goodwill messages.
I bring very warm greetings from your grandfather, General Dr. Yakubu Gawan. Is not able to be here, and he said I should convey to his congratulations. I want to confirm to him that I've come and I've seen, and his grandsons have done very, very well. My advice and my appealing is that this market, these facilities, will serve the public and will serve the beneficiaries which the facilities is meant for.
Thank you for this giant endeavor and the spirit of entrepreneurship, which I believe every serious leader in Nigeria must encourage for us to have genuine progress and build national prosperity.
The unveiling, Honorable Minister of State.
Represented by the Minister of State, the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, reiterates the President's commitment to industrialization.
What we see here today is not just a market, it is a symbol of vision, a partnership, motivation, and also prosperity. The international market is a testament to what could be achieved when a public and private sectors come together, collaborate, and also with a purpose. It is more than a trading hub. It is a thriving ecosystem designed to support businesses, empower entrepreneurs, create jobs, and attract both local and international investors.
One trader each from the 6 area councils in the FCT were gifted free shops by the minister before the official opening of the market. Dele Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
7 people have died and several others injured in multiple accidents this morning along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. This was confirmed by the Chief Public Education Officer of the Ogun State Sector Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Florence Okupe, in a statement in Abeokuta, the state capital. According to her, the suspected cause of the crash was excessive speeding on the part of the marked truck, which led to loss of control and ran into 2 other vehicles. Hours after that incident, the command confirmed that 18 people have been killed in another multiple accident along the Ikorodu-Shagamu road, while 4 others sustained injuries. The command has appealed to motorists, especially drivers of heavy-duty vehicles, to be cautious and avoid overspeeding. The President has expressed commitment to unity, preservation and the promotion of the rich cultural heritage of Nigerians from all walks of life. He reaffirmed this at the coronation ceremony of the 46th Alafin of Oyo, Akim Owade, in the ancient city of Oyo. The governor, Mr. Seyi Makinde, who hosted the historic event, expressed optimism that the coronation will put to rest all controversies leading to the ascension and call for unity amongst the people. Our correspondent, Bukola Oriowo, has this report.
Prince Akim Abimbola Owade was selected as the Alafin of Oyo by the Oyo State government in January 2025. The government wastes no time in presenting him with the paraphernalia of office at the governor's office, Agodi, Ibadan. Some 3 months down the line, sons and daughters of Oyo at home and abroad converge on Olivet Baptist Heights School ground in the ancient town of Oyo in their numbers and beautifully attired to be a part of the official coronation of the new monarch, Oba Akim Abimbola Owade, who is crowned the 46th Alafin of Oyo after the demise of Oba Lamidi Adeyemi III, who reigned for 52 years. As tradition demands, a new king is enthroned after 3 years of waiting and scheming among the royal houses, kingmakers, and other stakeholders. President Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, at the coronation event, highlights the importance of traditional institutions in fostering peace, promoting cultural identity, and supporting governance.
The Alafin stool is a symbol of cultural pride, a symbol of unity, and the enduring legacy of one of Africa's most powerful empires. Today's historic event is significant for many reasons. The Oyo Empire was once the political and military stronghold of the entire Yoruba people. Renowned for his administrative sophistication, military prowess, and cultural influence.
Governor Seyi Makinde on his part reiterates his commitment to encouraging the rule of law at all times, even as he expresses the hope that all rancor leading to the accession of the new Alafin will be laid to rest.
This administration will maintain a spotless record of never interfering with the process. We will be there to see that due process is followed. Yes, a lot happened since the last Alafin joined his ancestors, leaving the throne to his father's vacant for a while. But we're happy today that those issues have been resolved in the way our fathers would have liked it to be.
The shekere, the traditional musical instrument of the Alafin, ushers the new king into a new reign with hopes of peace and unity. The new king, in his first address to his people, preaches unity, noting that desired progress would come to Oyo and the state if they all work as one.
United community possesses the power to drive change, but within its own realm
and on a broader scale. Through collective action, communities can address social injustice, advocate for positive policy changes, and influence public opinion by standing together and amplify their voices. Communities can push boundaries, challenge the status quo, and bring about meaningful progress.
With this coronation done, optimism for a new order that heralds hope, development, and unity for Yoruba sons and daughters could drive the change desired by all. Bukola Uriowo, Channels Television News.
The governors of the Northwest region will ensure the successful operation of the newly established Northwest Development Commission, NWDC. The governor of Kebbi State, Mr. Nasir Idris, made the pledge while receiving the board members of the commission on a courtesy visit at the government house in Birin Kebbi. Governor Idris emphasized that the commission will receive all the necessary backing to take off smoothly and fulfill its mandate.
Our aim is to say thank you and also assure you that Kebbi State is always ready to support you so that you can achieve the goal that Mr. President set this board for. By God's grace, this commission has come to stay, and the Northwest, all the states are agrarian states. It's just that one is ahead of another, and so on and so forth. So I want to assure you that Kebbi State will create an enabling environment for you people to operate.
Each zone is having its own particularities and challenges. So it's like a competition put in place by the government to see how we can develop ourselves from our own perspectives and challenges. Northwest Development Commission and other commissions are created to subordinate, to support you. It is an intervention commission. It is a commission intended to come to complement the efforts of the governors, to support your need in particular and give us assignment on what you want us to achieve.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's forex reserves decline as Naira faces pressure amid oil concerns. That's on business news. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Commuters flying the Jalingo-Wukari Highway in Taraba State will soon heave a sigh of relief as the federal government has concluded plans to begin reconstruction of the collapsed bridge next week. This follows a visit by the Minister of State for Regional Development 7 months after the collapse to assess the level of damage done by the flood.
This bridge, located in Namnai community of Gasol local government area of Taraba State, is 43 kilometers from Jalingo, the state capital, and connects Taraba Central and Southern Zone, Benue State, Adamawa, Plateau, and other southeastern and north central states of the country. The bridge caved in after a heavy downpour in August 2024 in rain movement. The situation has forced some motorists to use the only alternative route through Garbachede to Mutumbiu bypass, while other road users had to employ the services of boats to cross over.
We're in dire need of assistance by the government to fix this road. It has brought untold hardship to us.
I am not happy seeing my fellow women, especially pregnant women, plying this route. Most times we have to get them out of the vehicle alongside other sick occupants and carry them on our backs to enable them cross safely. We really need government intervention.
7 months down the line, there is still no sign of any construction company on site to commence reconstruction of the bridge. The first rainfall of the year 2025 in the area has once again plunged commuters into another hardship as it washed away the makeshift route constructed by the locals and forced motorists to risk following through the waters to scale through. The arrival of the Minister of State for Regional Development to the site of the collapsed Namnai Bridge appears to be a good sign, as he assures that reconstruction work will soon commence.
I want you to hold us responsible and accountable, being a responsive and responsible government, that in 1 week, God willing, we'll find solution to the terrible situation behind us.
He applauds efforts made by the Northeast Development Commission in sending engineers to carry out surveys on affected bridges in the region.
I want to emphasize that whatever needs to be done between the federal government and the state government, we will partner.
As the locals work towards reconstructing the makeshift route, the intervention of the government to reconstruct the collapsed bridge will be a big relief for commuters.
There can be no justice and equality if women are not fully involved in running the society. The wife of the former governor of Ekiti State, Mrs. Bisi Adeleye Fayemi, said this in Lagos as a guest lecturer at the 3rd annual Innocent Chukuma Impact and Legacy Lecture Series. The family of the late Innocent Chukuma also used the opportunity to launch a library and a book in his honor. Our judiciary correspondent, Shola Shueli, has the rest of the story.
The 3rd annual Innocent Chukuma Impact and Legacy Lecture Series attracted family, friends, thought leaders, activists, members of the civil society, and many others who continue to be inspired by the life and work of the late renowned advocate for social justice, human rights, and good governance. Indeed, the annual lecture series honors his enduring legacy by bringing together all these people to engage with topics that were central to his life and mission. Guest lecturer and feminist, the former First Lady of Ekiti State, Erelu Bisi Adeleye Fayemi, seeks an end to the oppression and marginalization of women.
Thank you.
For her, the topic this year, the personal is political. Lessons from the life of Innocent Chukuma speaks to the legacy of the man who was deeply committed to feminist values and principles.
Innocent Chukuma was one of the rare men who understood that there could be no justice and equality in society if women were missing from the equation.
She goes on to make a case for more men allies to show the implications of a society wanting to clap with one hand. Goodwill messages also came in from the invited guests, with some of them pledging to be part of the solutions. The family of the late Innocent Chukuma also used the events to launch the library in his honor.
Anyone who knew my dad knew he loved reading, and that was a key part of how my sisters and I were raised. Every weekend we would go to the bookshop to buy whether it's fiction, non-fiction, and we'd talk about it. One of my favorite things to do today is still read. So my dad has been a collector of books over the years in so many fields: criminology, sociology, psychology, politics, fiction, non-fiction, philosophy. He had a book for everything, and he had an opinion on everything. So we decided that one of the main things we wanted to do was share it with the world. And so that's where the Innocent Chukuma Library came from.
The family and the Clean Foundation also launched its biography, Against All Odds.
My joy today knows no bounds. Do you understand? That innocent story has come out. This is just the beginning. Like I said, Innocent was a man of many parts, and those several parts will come out in various books. This is just the beginning.
The late Innocent Chukuma was born in 1966. He was the former regional director of the Ford Foundation and founder of the Clean Foundation. He's been widely described as one of the most revered figures in the social justice space, challenging injustice and bad governance. He died on April 3rd, 2021. Shola Shoyeli, Channels Television News.
The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Okobri, has visited Brass local government area in Bayelsa State today to inspect the site of a vandalized crude oil pipeline. The incident, which led to a significant oil spill along the coastline, has raised fresh concerns over sabotage of critical national infrastructure. The minister arrived in the area by speedboat, navigating the open waters to see the level of destruction. The affected pipeline, the 13-inch Tabidaba Brass trunk line, transports crude oil to the Brass terminal and is considered a major national asset.
I've come today, assisted by, security, heads, in the region, and I have seen what happened here, and this is very, very unfortunate. This cannot be allowed by any responsible government. These are very important, economic assets of the Federation, and the government will do everything humanly possible to ensure that we protect these assets, and we will go after anybody that's linked, to any of these crimes. Anybody, wherever they are, wherever they may be hiding, we all the job will know how to find ourselves. We'll find them wherever they are. This is, a major, trunk line, and anytime you shut it down for a day, it results in huge, revenue loss, not just, to the Federation, to the company, and even to the communities. You recall that, following the PIA, communities also have 3% stake in whatever that, passes here. So communities too must be told that they also lose income. And we are also, causing so much damage to the environment. And under no, circumstance will this be accepted, by this government.
The security matters now. The Abia State Police Command has confirmed the killing of 2 Chinese nationals and a police officer following an ambush by gunmen on their convoy. A statement by the command spokesperson, Maureen Chinaka, says the victims were attacked on Friday evening while on their way to a company site in Ndundu community. The statement adds that the manager, Mr. Kwan, his colleague, Mr. Chai, and Inspector Audu Saidu, one of the escort officers, were killed. She explained that a distress report was immediately received, prompting a coordinated response from the police, military, and other security operatives, leading to the rescue of 3 expatriates, while 1 sustained injuries. Suspected herdsmen have attacked and killed a security guard at Otobi Multipurpose Dam being constructed by the federal government in Otupo local government area of Benue State. While confirming the incident, the lawmaker representing Otupo Akwa State constituency in the State House of Assembly, Mr. Kennedy Ambo, decried the rising wave of violence in his constituency. According to the lawmaker, this is becoming way too much, and he appealed to security operatives to step up and nip this ugly trend in the bud. Time to find out what's happening in the world of business. Willie Bong has details.
Thank you, Melinda. Nigeria's gross FX reserves have declined for the 3rd consecutive week, dropping by $135.57 million to $38.17 billion as at April the 2nd. In the forwards market, the naira weakened across all contract durations, with the 1-month rate falling to 1,619 naira 49 kobo to a dollar. Now, despite the slight naira appreciation, analysts say risks remain due to concerns about lower oil prices and reduced FX inflows from foreign investors. However, the central bank's continued market interventions are expected to stabilize the naira and prevent a sharp depreciation. And the program director of the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas, Michael Oluwagbemi, says Northern Nigeria is set for a major boost in CNG infrastructure that will drive energy security, industrialization, and gas power development. He made this known while meeting with investors in his office following a $12 million investment in a gas processing plant in Ajaokuta. The plant, backed by counterpart funding from the initiative, is expected to produce 7 million standard cubic feet of gas daily.
to transform that liquefied natural gas to compressed natural gas that can be utilized by our power plants as well as our vehicles and other industries. So this is about industrialization at first instance. Many industries across the north, from textile to agriculture to processing to manufacturing, will benefit hugely from this project. The logistics, of course, of moving goods from the north down to the south, food items especially, processed and manufactured products, will also be cheaper because of this project.
Now, outside our shores, the U.S. has begun enforcing a 10% tariff on imports from several countries, including Australia and Saudi Arabia, marking a significant trade shift. And this move follows Trump's rejection of the post-World War II tariff system. Global markets reacted sharply, losing 5 trillion naira in S&P 500 value. Higher tariffs, up to 50%, will soon target the EU and China. In retaliation, China imposed countermeasures, and other nations, including Israel and Japan, are negotiating with the U.S. to avoid further disruption. Canada and Mexico remain exempt from the new tariffs but face separate duties. Meanwhile, China has rejected new U.S. tariffs, saying the market has spoken. After global stocks plunged, Beijing urged Washington to stop using tariffs as a weapon and return to fair trade talks. The U.S. raised tariffs on Chinese goods to 54%, prompting China to retaliate with matching duties and rare earth export curbs. The S&P 500 dropped 9% for the week. Hong Kong said it won't impose its own measures, but remain committed to free trade. Chinese trade groups also condemned the tariffs and called for industry unity. Now, the domestic equities market closed the holiday-shortened week slightly lower, with the all-share index down 0.14% to 105,511 points. Market capitalization dipped 0.17% to 66.15 trillion naira. And this was driven by sell-offs in O&O and First Holdco. Trading activity slowed as volume dropped to 1.18 billion units, valued at 28.87 billion naira in 42,397 deals. Sector performance was mostly negative. Banking gained 0.22%, while other key sectors we track closed the week negative. VFD Group topped the gainers list with a 20.7% jump, followed by Union Dye Consult and Africa Prudential, while UACN led the losers, down 18.31%, with Suno Assurances and Universal Insurance also posting double-digit losses. Fidelity Bank, Zenith Bank, and Universal Insurance were the most actively traded stocks this week. Similarly, the NASD over-the-counter market closed the week slightly lower as the NSI dropped 0.2% to 3,309 points. Market capitalization stood at 1.91 trillion naira. Trading activity was modest, with a total volume of 10.81 million units valued at 16.33 million naira and exchanged in 82 deals. On the gainers chart, IPOA PLC led with a 10% increase to 55 kobo. Lagos Building Investment Company followed, up 9.58%, while First Trust Mortgage Bank added 3.57%. That's business news. It's back to Melinda for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Will. President Bola Tinubu has vowed that the gunmen who killed people in communities in Plateau State will be apprehended and face severe punishment under the law. In a statement signed by his special advisor on information and strategy, Mr. Abayo Ononuga, the president extended his condolences to the families of the victims in Boku's local government area and those from other villages where gunmen launched brutal attacks, resulting in the loss of lives and destruction of properties. President Tinubu also commiserated with the government of Plateau State, urging the affected communities to work with the authorities by providing information to catch the perpetrators and secure their domain. He assured Governor Caleb Mufwang of his support in ending the spate of bloodshed on the plateau and directed the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to work with state authorities to provide necessary support to the affected communities. Let's find out what's happening in the world of sports. Olumide Macaulay has details.
Welcome to Sports News. Thank you, Melinda. In basketball, Nigeria champions Rivers Hoopers have begun their campaign of the 2025 Basketball Africa League with an emphatic win. Rivers Hoopers fought back from a 7-point deficit in the first quarter to defeat Stade Malien of Mali 81-60. The opening game of the Kalahari Conference played in Rabat, Morocco. Kelvin Amaya led Rivers Hoopers scoring with 19 points, while Madoud Akech and Raphael Putney also posted double figures in the win. Rivers Hoopers will face Morocco's first Rabat tomorrow in their second conference game.
Big score there, love it there. Well, let's get to the free throw line a little bit more because the percentage is good, but they haven't really spent much time up there. That's been flung down. Amayo dunks. Of course he does. When does he not, given the chance like that? 19 points. They're trying to hook it over the top there to Corey. Doesn't happen. It goes quick. It's over the top. Putney drives in. Oh! Dunk it down, Raphael Putney. Again, decent rebounds, loss of possession there, but that's been checked big time. You will not stop him.
And 21-point victory there for the Nigerian champions. And back home, they will say, Niger no di carry last.
Congratulations to the Rivers Hoopers. That is an opening win.
From basketball to football, and in France, Paris Saint-Germain have clinched the French league title after a 1-0 win at home against Angers with 6 matches left to play. Desire Doué's strike early in the second half decided the game in Paris Saint-Germain's favor. It's a 4th consecutive title for the club from the French capital and their 11th in the last 13 seasons, highlighting the extent to which they've dominated domestically since being taken over by Qatar Sports Investments in 2011. Paris Saint-Germain's overall tally of 13 French league titles is 3 more than Saint-Etienne, who are the next most successful club with 10, but have not been champions since 1981. In the English Premier League, Arsenal's faint title hopes have suffered potentially a fatal blow as they were held to a draw at Everton. The result means leaders Liverpool require only 11 points from their remaining 8 games, starting with Fulham on Sunday to guarantee themselves a title. Crystal Palace held on to beat Brighton as Daniel Munoz, second half winner, decided a match of 3 red cards. Wolverhampton Wanderers closed in on survival and left Ipswich Town on the brink of relegation after a vital comeback win. Bournemouth's winless run stretched to 6 matches after Evanilson's double rescued a draw against West Ham United. Aston Villa survived a stirring Nottingham Forest comeback to boost their Champions League hopes. Now, Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim says he is in a rush for his team to improve and challenge again for Premier League titles. Amorim was asked on the topic ahead of facing reigning champions Manchester City and Sunday's Manchester derby at Old Trafford. Manchester United's hierarchy had unveiled a plan named Mission 21, which is aimed at helping the club win their 21st league title by 2028. But the 40-year-old Portuguese is hoping to see marked improvement by next season, which begins in just over 4 months.
I'm not saying that we are going to win the title on the next year. I'm not crazy. What I'm saying is that I don't want this conversation, that we need a lot of years and let's keep it calm. No, we are in the rush. So next year, we are suffering a lot for next year to be so much better. And that is our goal. And sometimes things can happen. So I don't know. I don't want to be that guy that is here saying that we need a lot of time. I will not be that coach.
Some more football. Bayern Munich legend Thomas Müller has confirmed that the club will not offer him a new contract, bringing an end to his 25-year career with the German Bundesliga giants at the end of the campaign. Müller, whose contract was set to expire in summer, said in a post on social media the decision was made by the club and not what he would have wished. 35-year-old came through the Bayern Munich junior system and has won 2 Champions League titles along with 12 Bundesliga titles. His focus now on bringing the league title back to Munich, as well as reaching the season's Champions League final, which will be held in Bayern's Allianz Arena home. And that's it on Sports News. Melinda, back to you.
Many thanks, Olumide. President Donald Trump has asked U.S. citizens to be resolute due to his latest wave of tariffs as British luxury car maker Land Rover pauses shipments into the United States. However, demonstrators gathered in downtown Boston to protest President Trump's actions over tariffs and other policies enacted during the start of his second term in office. Light rain drizzled on the marchers as the sounds of Revolutionary War-era drum music played, a reminder of the city's pivotal role in the American Revolution 250 years ago. One of the issues on the people's mind is the detention and deportation of the U.S. president's critics. And the main news again. Governor Chukuma today emerged a consensus governorship candidate for Abuja, just as George Moghalu clinched the Labour Party's ticket for the November 8th Anambra governorship poll. The two candidates got the nod of their parties at the primary elections held in Awka, the Anambra state capital. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Kinlami on behalf of the team. Good night.